All right, hey guys. So today we're going to be talking about BIM and Power BI with our guest speaker Ernesto. So in this video,
Hi.
we're going to be hi Ernesto. So in this video, we're just going to be talking about introduction of Ernesto, his background, and a summary of his new book, which is super exciting. And I did take a sneak peek of the book, and boy, it's amazing. There's lots of content in there, and um, and then we're going to talk about some use cases regarding Revit and Power BI, BIM stuff, Dynamo, and then closing. Where can people get a copy of the book and release dates and stuff? All right. So Ernesto, I'm gonna hand it off to
Hi.
you.
Hi, Trey. Yeah. So thank you for having me and for taking your time for doing this interview. Thank you. Yeah. So where we gonna start?
Let's talk about introduction of yourself. Like, how did you get into this industry? Your
Oh,
background. What did you study in school and stuff like that?
okay. So I'll try to cut it as much as it possible because it's boring stuff.
Okay.
So um, yeah, so I studied architecture. I'm an architect. When people ask me what's your job, if they are architects or engineers, I say I am an IT guy. If an IT guy asks me what's your job, I say I'm an architect. So I'm in the middle, in between of the two worlds. Jokes aside, I have a background in computer science. I am very passionate about computer science. I started to study to learn programming a few years ago. Both of the worlds, the academic architecture world and the computer science passion merged together in the job I do today, which is I'm in charge of the R&D at La SIA, which is one of the most known Italian architecture and engineering company. I work there since 2017. We do lots of great stuff on the BIM side. We do lots of Revit modeling, Dynamo scripts,
Nice.
automation, web application. Yeah, we do great things. We have great people. This is who I am in a nutshell.
Wow, that's nice. Well, obviously you're an expert in this space and that's why you wrote a book about it. So do you want to tell us a little bit about the book and like who is this book for?
The book, I think, is for people who work in the architecture, engineering, and construction field, and they want to push a little bit forward on the computer science side of things. In the book, we cover lots of contents. We actually at the beginning of the book talks about computer science topics, fundamentals, the basics. But yeah, this is crucial to do, to create a Dynamo script or to overview or collaborate on a web application. We talk about databases, we talk about cloud, we talk about data types, strings, lists, variables, etc. The book is, I had the pleasure to work with four colleagues and friends of mine. They are AC experts, and I really enjoyed working with them. They wrote a chapter on a specific workflow. For example, there is Manuel, this friend of mine. He worked a chapter on how to create a Revit plugin using Visual Studio to stream Revit models data directly to Power BI.
That's super cool.
It's mind blowing. I studied with Manuel. We started to work together also, and yeah, he did a really great job. But also Luisa Piper, Gavin Crump, and Unia Tuil. They all wrote fantastic chapters. Luisa talked about Dynamo, basically guiding the reader on how to get data from Revit and how to push data to Revit. So she explains a lot of the fundamentals on how to get started with Dynamo, on the data gathering side of things, because with Dynamo you can do all these fancy shapes, these towers. Sometimes on LinkedIn I see those weird shapes. You can actually do that on Dynamo, but to me the real power of Dynamo is managing data. Luisa shows us how to do that, how to get started. Then we have Gavin Cramp. He's an Australian architect. He's a really great guy, and he wrote a chapter on how to visualize in Power BI Revit floor plans and have them dynamically interact with the charts. That's really great. Then we have Dounia Twill. She also wrote a really great chapter on creating a Revit model issue tracker. So you can have a dashboard tracking all the model issues and keep everything under control. Yeah, I really enjoyed working with those guys.
That's
really
awesome.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if I answered your question.
So basically you talked about like who are the guest writers of the book, but what would you say is like the main ingredient of this book?
Okay, the main ingredient. Well, the main ingredient, I think, it's data. It's data management and data visualization. We are surrounded by data today. And in our industry, in the construction field, we have models with plenty and plenty of data. So actually, to take a little step backward, I started to use Power BI back in 2015. I am a member of the Microsoft R&D project. I saw a post from this lady, this girl, back in 2015, and she was talking about data visualization engine software and about sales of retails, shopping center. I don't remember, but I was really intrigued by what she posted, and I started to search a little on Google, on YouTube. I was working in Modena back then, and I thought, why not to use Revit data? This software, this business intelligence software, connects to any type of database. A Revit model is technically a database.
That's true.
So yeah, let's try something. I'm also always looking for new challenges like that. And I started to do a little experiments, and I started to create those little charts showing Revit data. And today at La Silla, we use it frequently. We do telecommunication industry. A lot of our business is in the telecommunication. And we have lots and lots of Revit models. That was perfect. That was the perfect reason to start using massively Power BI. I developed a script that gathers data from multiple Revit models without opening each one by one. And this is something I teach inside the book, how to write a script that gathers data from 100 Revit models all at once. You don't have to open every one by one. Yeah, it's really great. Dynamo, it's the powerful tool for our industry. We use it a lot. It's our best friend, we can now automate lots of tasks like that. And gathering all of that data, we then can take that data and put it in Power BI and visualize where all of those sites located on a map. We can know how many families are in there. We can zoom on information between families. How can structure are in there? How many structural connections? How many MEP systems and so on and so on.
Wow.
Sorry.
That's huge.
It's really powerful. We do often meetings with our clients, and we show Power BI because it summarizes everything in 1 or 2 pages. It's awesome.
That's great. So you can actually like pull quantities out of Revit model and display it in like a dashboard.
Exactly. We gather data from 5,000 Revit model at
Hmm.
once, and we visualize everything on Power BI. It's not an easy journey, to be honest, but it's worth it. It's definitely worth it.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, it is.
So do you mind diving deeper a little bit into like the difference between extracting data from different Revit model as opposed to one Revit model? Because I've worked with BIM before, and like a lot
Yeah,
of times we extract models from like one single model. Like for
yeah,
example, like the architectural model, we extract
yeah.
doors and windows and quantities of the walls and all that. So when you say different Revit models, like what exactly do you mean?
Okay, yeah. We work in the telecommunication field mainly. So we have thousands and thousands of sites spread all over Italy. Our client needed a few years ago needed to digitize everything. They work with PDF, DWG files, and they wanted something that improved the management and the operational tasks. We studied a little bit and we proposed this solution. So we proposed to gather the data from to create to create Revit models for every site they have. We developed before starting to model. We developed BIM guidelines, BIM standards, because it's necessary. We created almost 3,000 families.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's a huge library because those antenna, structural connections, beams. There are all sorts of equipment, electrical equipment, mechanical equipment. So there's a lots of stuff. It isn't perfect. I'm not saying we did the perfect thing, but we tried to center the client's needs, and
Mhm.
they really appreciated it. After collecting all of that data, we developed a web application that hosts all of those Revit models. It shows those models on a map. Those models can be, searched, filtered. You want to know how many sites do you have in Rome? You can do that in like seconds.
Mhm.
And we used the Autodesk Forge API to visualize the Revit models on the browser. And that was huge because you don't have to use Revit or a BIM authoring tool. Now you can open this web application from a tablet, from a smartphone, and you can visualize models. You can take quotes, dimensions. You can see parameters, data of everything. It was a great job. We worked with a huge team for 3 years to accomplish that.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
crazy. So it seems like the book has a lot of really complex techniques and concepts that you go over. Would you say that this book is for someone who is like an absolute beginner in BIM or someone who's actually had some experience in BIM?
Well, to be honest, if you have some experience in BIM, it will be better for you, of course. But also, if you don't have, a strong BIM background, it's fine because we start from the basics. Actually, we do not cover, for example, Revit so much. We focused more on Dynamo, automation, databases, Power BI, visualization charts. We explain the basics. Think, for example, that on the first chapter, I say, have you heard about BIM? You know what BIM is? Forget about it. We will not talk about BIM during the first three chapters because I really wanted the reader to have a basic understanding on what's a database is, what is the cloud, what is a string, what is a number, what is an integer, which are fundamental concepts in IT, in computer science. You
Mhm.
you can think to manage data and you don't know what is a string. It's not possible. So I started from the basic. I try to be as much friendly as possible. I want to thank my partner in life, Vanessa. She did a lot of memes, a lot of good drawings throughout the book, to make some fun from time to
Mhm.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite cartoon that she drew was Big Data. Say it one more time. That one.
Yeah,
Yeah, super funny.
that is, yeah, that is very funny.
Okay, so you talk about the first three chapters being more like computer science and IT background. Like,
Yeah.
what about the subsequent chapters forward?
Yeah, basically the book is divided into three sections.
Hmm.
We have the first three chapters that you just named. Then we have the central part, the second section, which is dedicated to Manuel, Luisa, Gavin, and Dounia. And the third part of the book, from chapter 8 to 12, is all in on Dynamo and Power BI. We start to work things out little by little, step by step. Things are not so much complicated. I didn't want to get too much technical. So, but towards the end of the book, we push it a little bit more, and also because I expect the reader that they have read the first part of the book, so they are ready to create, for example, a script that gets data from 10, 15, 500 Revit models all at once. I hope that readers like it. Of course, I'm not a professional book author. This is the first book that I wrote, to be honest. Yeah, it was quite a journey. Yeah,
How long did it take you to write this book?
almost 10 months.
10 months. Wow. It's quite
Yeah,
long.
yeah. Yeah, because I did lots of research at the beginning. Writings alone, it took 10 months. But before those 10 months, we worked, me and the publisher, Pact Publishing, which I am really grateful. They really helped me out
Mhm.
every time I needed it. We spent 3 months only on deciding the subject because
Wow.
there are plenty of book on Revit, on BIM, on blah blah blah. I didn't want to make a Revit book, another copy of a Revit book. I wanted to make something unique, as much as unique as possible. So we focused on data. Yeah.
Nice. So moving on to the next part, I know like we did talk about use cases before when you talk
Yeah.
about like um, extracting data from a lot of different Revit models. But give us one example of how we can benefit from integrating Power BI with BIM.
Well, actually, there are lots of examples on LinkedIn. There are lots of experts that showcase their uses. To me, the best option we had. I'm talking about our situation. We had a client with thousands of sites, thousands of MEP system, and to me, it was a natural way to,
Mhm.
to develop something with Power BI because there is plenty of data. Think that we have modeled 11,000 Revit models in 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of data. A few minutes ago, you talked about one Revit model versus multiple Revit models.
Mhm.
I think that Power BI is a powerful tool, but I don't want to say only Power BI because there are other business intelligence softwares, like Tableau or QLink. They all do the same. I like talking about Power BI because it's the one I started working with in 2015. But we're talking here about data visualization, data management. If you have one model or if you have multiple models, it will bring you an added value on your workflows, on your overview on the projects overall, I think. If you do the thing the right way, if you have a Revit model, you talked about architectural Revit
Mhm.
model.
Yep.
If you have a good model, for good model, I mean, it has an organization, it has a classification system. And if you have those things, Power BI is really helpful. But if you're working with one model and you have all of the families named in strange ways. Everyone is using different measurement units. If there is chaos in the Revit model, you don't expect Power BI to be your best friend, because it isn't. If you have a good Revit, a good organized Revit model, Power BI, it will take it a step forward. If you don't, maybe you should focus on organizing things first before moving to Power BI.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know BIM is kind of like what goes in is what comes out. If you have good data going in, good data will come out.
Okay.
Where can people get a copy of your new book?
Okay, the book actually isn't released yet. I think it will be released towards the end of November. It is on pre-order on Amazon and on the Pact Publishing website.
Yeah. So do people get a digital copy as well when they order the book from you, or just a physical copy?
You have two options. If you pick the Kindle version, you have the Kindle version. If you pick the printed version, you have the printed version.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, are you planning to release a part 2 of this book?
Oh, no.
Another 10 months of writing. Oh, man.
No, not at the moment. I'm joking. At the moment, it was a tough year because, this isn't my main job. To be in time with deadlines, I had really to work until night hours on Saturdays, on Sundays, really for 10 months. It was a tough journey, but I am glad I did it. I really enjoyed it from time to time. No, it wasn't always fun. Of course, but it was great. Overall, I liked the experience. I loved the Pact team. They helped me a lot through this journey. So part 2 of the book, no, for now, no. Let's talk about it in 2022.
Okay, for sure. So bonus question, what advice would you give people who want to get started in BIM?
That's a great question. Well, actually, during the first chapters, I talk about hybrid jobs, because this is, to me, a really important subject, a really important matter today. We are experiencing people like Manuel, Luisa, Gavin, Donia, and me. We have, a architectural or engineering background, but we also have computer science skills. And this is, on the upcoming years, this will be required a lot. Imagine during an interview in 5 years from now, you and me, we compete with 3 more people, 5 more people, but they have computer science skills and we don't. Who do you think they will hire?
Yeah, the guy with the computer science skills.
Yeah, so an advice would be, guys, girls, learn computer science. It's fundamental. It's something that we're experiencing in every industry. I'm not talking only about construction. If you see the data, we are the last ones. We are the last industry. Really, I studied that data. There are other industries who have, professionals with computer science skills, and this is pretty much the future in every industry. So learn computer science. Learn computer science.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ernesto, for being the guest speaker of this.
Thank you, Trey. Thank you.
And I really look forward to seeing your book published and on Amazon and everywhere in the world, in the marketplace. Okay,
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully we see part 2 of this book, right?
No. No, not for now.
Okay, well, I will put Ernesto's LinkedIn channel and his Amazon links in the description below. Ernesto, do you have like any channels that you want to share as well? Like, your Facebook or Instagram, I don't know.
I will share my LinkedIn and Twitter, which are the socials I use the most. Thank you, Trey, for your time. Thank you so much for this interview, really.
No, thank you. I learned so much from you. Okay. All right, guys. So this is it. Have a wonderful day.
Bye, everyone.
See ya. Bye bye.